Hey there, thank you for checking out the Scruggs style arrangement of Cripple Creek. If you have learned the melody, this one is just going to add a few things in to give us a slightly more embellished banjo sound. Really, all we are adding in is a few pinches and some bits of a forward roll. If you learned the lick that we talked about in the melody video, then you're going to be set up to play measure 1 of this. And now measures 2, 3, and 4 all start with a piece of a forward roll, and it all comes in the same place. Now, if you look over the tablature and you listen to it using the Tunefox player before you start, you'll notice that measures 2 and measures 4 are exactly the same thing. All right, now this gives us a big clue into how we should kind of divide our practice time. So instead of just starting at the beginning of the song and then playing till the end and doing that a bunch of times, I'd suggest that we just loop and focus on measure 2. And if we practice that, and if we work on that until we can play it cleanly and repeatedly, we're going to have measure 4 down as well. So that's how we practice very efficiently. I'm always going to recommend that you read through the tablature and listen using the Tunefox player before you play each time. All right, so it helps to develop your musical mind and your hearing, your understanding and memorization of the tune. All right, I'm going to play through this thing, keeping my 8th note count for the most part, and then also using that 1E and a 2E and a count whenever these bits of a forward roll pop up, because we are playing those and counting those with 16th notes. So they come twice as fast as the 8th notes, so we definitely need to watch how fast we start this tune off, because you might be comfortable playing the basic melody with 8th notes, but once we add these rolls in, we might need to dial our overall speed back just a bit so that we can play everything with a nice steady beat. All right, I'm going to count it off and then I'll play through it for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 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 4. Okay, I only played through this thing one time. If you are learning it, definitely try to get through it multiple times. We want to aim to not play through something once, not to play through it until you get it right one time, but ideally until you can't get it wrong. We really want to try to put in a lot of repetitions at a speed we can handle, getting that steady beat going. And that's going to allow us to build that good muscle memory to really get these tunes down. And just like the melody, whenever we are playing the open strings, that's going to be a time to make position shifts and prepare fret hand fingers for upcoming notes that are going to need to be fretted. Now, if you check out the licks, we have a few more embellishments to add in. These ones are a lot more in line with actual Scruggs style banjo playing. That is to say, banjo vocabulary that is based on the playing of Earl Scruggs himself. If you look at the Scruggs lick for measure 2, it starts with a quintessential Earl Scruggs bit of vocabulary. A lot of people actually call this the Cripple Creek lick. All right, and it is often so named because it appears so much in the song, at least when he's playing it, the way he plays it. Now, a lot of you may know that we have the focus feature in Tunefox that allows us to play a measure repeatedly, and that helps a lot for listening and for practice. But sometimes when learning something new, we need to break it down even smaller. For example, with this new lick, if it is new to you, Instead of just playing this whole measure, let's take a look at the lick. Let's take a look at what's going on here, okay? All right, let's look at what's going on with the right hand. It's just an alternating thumb roll, right? And if you look at the tablature, you can just see that that's happening, right? So we can see that we're playing third string, second string, fifth string, first string, and the fingers we're using. And what's going on with the fretting hand is we're sliding from second fret to third fret, right? And that's happening within the first two notes of the roll, right? So while the alternating thumb roll might be easy for you, sometimes combining this left hand, sometimes combining this fret hand movement with your picking hand can be what's really confusing. It's also kind of the thing that usually makes Scruggs style banjo playing what it is. All right, so what we might want to do is focus on the timing of our fretting hand. 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and okay? Just making sure that we're sliding in time, okay? We want our fretting hand to be just as rhythmic as our picking hand. And if we want to, combine those two, right? Combine picking the first two notes of that lick and the slide. You can see I'm also doing a bit of a bend. All right, if you check out Scruggs number 2 or Scruggs number 3 licks for some of these different measures, you'll see a kind of evolution happening. We're adding in a bit of vocabulary with each lick. All right, in Scruggs number 2, what you will see is that it's starting out with the Cripple Creek lick and then adding something else. Again, analyze first before you play, before you practice. So what's going on with the right hand there? Well, it's another alternating thumb roll, except this time we're playing strings 3, 2, 4, and 1. Okay, so let's try to get that down first. Right, make sure you can play it repeatedly and in time. The other thing that's going on is we have a very quick pull off and then a fretted note that happens on the third note of that roll, all right? So again here, the pull-off may be the hardest thing, so we might want to focus on just doing the pull-off for a while. Not even worrying about the timing of it. Just trying to get the maneuver and the feeling down. After that, we may want to combine it with that second note of the roll. And then finally putting it all together. All right. And actually that sounds pretty nice on its own. Practice can get pretty boring, so we got to find ways to enjoy it when we're playing it slow. And it's always nice whenever something that you are practicing actually turns out to sound like a piece of music unto itself, which to me that did, and I hope you guys enjoyed that as well. Scruggs 3 is if you look at that lick, the third part of that is just adding on one more new thing. And what's going on with the right hand? Well, it's a bit of a forward roll. We're playing strings 4, 2, 1, and 5. Now this one, if we're playing it repeatedly, doesn't line up very well. Okay, so we may want to play this and just kind of let another beat go by. 3 E and 4 E and 3 E and 4 E and, right? And then the only other thing we're adding in is a hammer-on. Okay, so we may want to just practice that. Once we get that down, we need to be able to hammer on at the same time that we pick the second note of that lick. And then combine it. Okay. So as you can see, a lot of bigger musical statements, licks, if you will, are comprised of smaller bits of musical vocabulary, all right? And they'll all fit together to form kind of signature phrases that we'll use as these licks throughout Tunefox and just throughout your playing. All right, make sure to make listening and reading before playing a part of your practice. Analyze, try to come up with exercises so you can practice efficiently and effectively, and aim not to get through something once, whether it's the lick or the song, but to get through it multiple times and with steady beat. And also just be patient with yourself. This stuff is hard, and we don't want to rush through it too fast. We want to go at a speed and a pace that we can handle and that suits us as individuals, okay? All right, keep picking and stay tuned, everyone.